Okay, thank you very much everyone for this opportunity to give you an update of the work in Guinea. This is a work that we've been involved with for a number of years now, and it is a work of this congregation. So thank you very much, Daniel, for giving up your Bible teaching slot, and also it's great to have the kids listening in on this as well. So for those of you who don't know where Guinea is, you can see up on the map there, it's in West Africa. So it's a long way from Australia. And it's such a privilege that we are able to support brethren in another part of the world who do appreciate and need our support and help. So I'm going to go through quite broadly an update on the work in Guinea. If you have any questions, if we've got time, we'll address those at the end. So I also wanted to thank the congregation here for their ongoing support of the work, also to individuals within this congregation and other congregations in Australia who provide support of this work. Also, you may not be aware, but we're actually working together with the congregation in the US, Niceville, which is a congregation in Florida. They started work in Guinea before we did, and we are working in conjunction with them. Also wanted to thank the brethren in both Guinea and Liberia for their constant communication, and thanks for the support that we're giving them. And lastly, wanted to thank the working group, and I'll mention who they are at the end of the presentation. The working group meet quarterly to discuss the work and to make decisions on the work that we're supporting. Just a bit of background. Most of you will be aware of this, but some of you will not be. In late 2013, we had a mission trip to Guinea. And the idea behind this mission trip was firstly to meet with the brethren, to identify the needs of the brethren there, and also to discuss plans for a Bible training college. So the plans for the Bible training college actually predate Mission Guinea efforts by quite a long time, quite a few years. As you'd be aware, the Miller family lived in Guinea prior to their arrival here in Australia. So they brought these plans with them when they arrived. So in early 2014, we then formed Mission Guinea. And this is when the work, I guess, officially started and became a work of the congregation here. And we have two main goals. I want you to keep this in mind as we're going through this update. These are our core goals. They are to support the brethren in Guinea and to have an operating Bible training college. So that's our main focus. So progressing then to 2018, we had a second mission trip to Guinea. Abraham and Maddie, Ruth and myself went across there, and we had, I guess, again, two main foci, and they were to start work on the construction of the Bible training college, and in particular that was to put the foundation down, and second was to visit with the brethren in Guinea to see how they were going. And also, we, for the first time, visited in Liberia, which is a neighbouring country, and I'll talk about that later as well. So from 2014 to now, we have been supporting 12 evangelists and 10 congregations and gathering support for the Bible training college. And I'll go now to talk about those two areas. Okay, so you can see up on the screen there a map of Guinea. It's in the very pale colour here. Sorry, it's not of the best quality. So we are supporting brethren in Conakry, which is the capital of Guinea. So when we travel to Guinea, that's where we fly into. We're also supporting a number of congregations in the forest region. So you can see down the bottom in the red circle here, Zerakore. We've got a number of congregations there that we're supporting. More recently, okay, it's not clicking over, there we go. More recently, we've also been supporting brethren in Liberia, in Voinjama, which is just over the border. You can see there highlighted in the blue circle. And then we're supporting, for some reason this isn't clicking forward. We're also supporting people then in other communities of Dabola, Kisadugu and Gekadu. So I'm going to go through briefly now and talk about the different congregations and evangelists we're supporting. Again, in the interest of time, I'm not going to be able to talk in detail about all of them. We are supporting 2 refugee camps in Guinea. In these refugee camps, we have brethren who are predominantly from Liberia. So they fled Liberia when there was civil unrest there quite a number of years ago. They have established in these refugee camps. However, they are no longer supported by the UN. Liberia is no longer in unrest. And so the Guinean government have pretty much said, well, you are able to now go back to your country and re-establish yourself there. So the Guinean government do not support the Liberians who are still in these refugee camps. However, the difficulty is these Liberians don't have the money behind them to go and get back to their community in Liberia and re-establish themselves. And quite often their previous land or homes, they don't know whether or not they are still there or whether or not they've been occupied by other people. So we have a congregation in the Lennae refugee camp that we're supporting. And when we're supporting the communities and the evangelists, we're supporting the communities to help them with their basic needs. So it can be things like food and medicine, maintenance of their accommodation and their homes. And when we're supporting evangelists, we're supporting them so that they don't have to seek secular employment, so that they can focus on doing the Lord's work. If they don't get the support, they therefore have to go and find other employment and other jobs, and they're not able to focus on the growth of the church in Guinea. Something about the Lennae refugee camp. Even though it's part of the forest region, it's quite dry there. It's, how would I say, it's quite desolate. The land is not quite as productive as some of the other places that we visited. You can see there quite a number of youth, children in this community. Okay, the second refugee camp is the Quankun refugee camp. Similar situation there. You can see in the top left-hand corner is a photo of Philip Sakilla. So Philip is the evangelist there and we support him and his family. Philip is visually impaired. So you might recall when we went over in 2018, we took over a Braille Bible. Now, when you think of a Braille Bible, you might think that's one book. It was, I don't know how many books. About 22, Ruth said. So it was a large volume. So that picture there is a picture of Philip reading the Braille Bible. We also support the congregation and the evangelist Philip Tono in Gekadu, and that's him in the red shirt there, and his family. When we were there last time, Philip was quite ill. We suspect he may have had a stroke. Thankfully, his health has improved dramatically. He's actually doing really well at the moment. I'm going through this so that you can put a face to a name or a name to a face, whichever way you want to go by. But you can also see through the photos, I guess, a bit more about the environment and the living conditions in Guinea. We also support a congregation in Conakry. So Conakry, as I said, is the capital of Guinea. So it's a reasonably large congregation. It's probably similar to our size congregation, maybe a little bit bigger. In the picture there, we've got Nesta, and he's the evangelist that we support. So Nesta and his family live in Conakry. Another congregation, and this is more down in the forest region around Zerakore, is Moamu. You can see there the congregation. And another congregation, again, in the forest region is Bellevue. So you can see in the top left-hand corner is a picture of Zomi and his family. Now, we do support, at this stage, I think only Zomi, not the congregation. Since this photo was taken, they've actually moved from this is photo, the big photo, is a photo of them in front of their worship hall, is what they call it. So they've since moved from there and have started constructing a new worship hall. Just to, I guess, give you a bit of background information again to help you understand the situation in Guinea. It's a predominantly Muslim country. So Christianity accounts for a very small percentage of people in Guinea. So this worship hall was actually built on the site of a Christian family whose, I guess, background was Muslim. So pressure from the Muslim community and Muslim parents resulted in that family then becoming unfaithful. And so the congregation had to make a decision to vacate that worship hall and to vacate that situation. So just to make you aware, I guess of some of the struggles that our brethren do face in Guinea. So this is a photo that was actually taken back in 2013, and it's of some of the brethren in Kisadugu. In the top left-hand corner of the slide is Bala, Brother Bala, and we support him through this effort. And the bottom right-hand corner is Moses Sese, and we support him as well. And he also has ongoing health struggles. Last time when we were in Guinea, we didn't actually get to catch up with the brethren in Kisadugu because there had been a death within the congregation, so they weren't able to meet with us. Heading back now to the forest region, when we travel to Guinea, we spend a lot of time with the Sukra brethren, and that's where we're generally based, is with them. They have quite a large congregation there as well. You can see on the slide we have a picture in the top right-hand corner of the ladies of the congregation, and in the bottom right-hand corner is more the men of the congregation. And in the bottom left-hand corner, we have Zizi and his family. So you can see a lot of the evangelists have young families that they're supporting as well. Now, I haven't gone into detail in terms of the different works of the different congregations, but Sukra have a regular radio program that they do every week, and that's one of their works. Another congregation in the forest region is Samoa. You can see the picture in the left-hand side there, some of the brethren, and that's when they've actually received some of their goods that they've purchased through the support that has been sent over. And in the bottom right-hand corner is Sam Williams and his family. Okay, I just wanted to talk briefly now about the brethren in Voinjama. So the gentleman in the middle is Nathaniel Boyka, and we support him directly through Mission Guinea. We don't currently support the congregation. So this is, I guess, something that we've taken on quite recently. But to give you an idea, and you can probably read some of the things on the sign behind him, but Nathaniel is very active in the community there. He does have a radio program. He also has a prison ministry, and he also gets invited to have linkages, I guess, with the local government there to have a bit of a voice. So he's quite an important figure in some ways in that local community. He does have a wife who is in poor health. She is currently not in Voinjama with him because she has to be elsewhere to get the medical support that she needs. Something that I wanted to make mention in relation to the support of the congregations and of the evangelists is that we request from them regular updates on how they're going, what the support is being used for. And they are very diligent in providing these reports. However, sometimes they don't provide these supports. And we've put in place, if they do not provide a report, they do not get their support. So that support is withheld. And it's an accountability and a fairness thing that we've put in place so that we're getting regular updates on what is happening over there. Now, as I mentioned, the Mission Guinea Working Group meet quarterly. The support is sent over quarterly to Guinea. Something else I was going to mention there. Oh, yes. The reports that are sent over, to give you a bit of an idea, the last quarter of reports that were sent over was 45 pages worth once they were compiled. They're available for anyone who wants to see them. You might want to brush up on your French. Some of it is in French. Majority of it is in English, though. And after every quarterly meeting that we have, we do what we call a supporters update. So if you're directly supporting this work, that is sent out to you, but it's also put up on the Gipps Street Church of Christ website, so you can go online and check that out as well. Moving on to the Bible College. As I mentioned, Guinea is largely a Muslim community, 85%, less than 1% Christian. Guinea is bordered by 6 other countries. So in terms of location for a Bible training college, it's a good location. The Bible College will be, provide opportunity for people in those countries to come to the site, to stay on the site and to get their training. It means that they won't be too far away from their families as opposed to having to travel further. I wanted to also point out that this is a long-term goal. So it's something that's going to take time. It's going to still take some more planning, but I'll give you an update on where it's at. And if you've got any questions at the end, we'll go through those. Okay, so the Bible College, we have a site that's located in Samoa, so it's in that forest region. So we've got a number of congregations and a number of brethren who are able to actively support the construction and then the teaching and whatnot that will happen there once it's established. So in terms of the construction, we've broken it down into phases of construction because it's a big goal. Okay, so we've broken it down into 4 phases and you can see those on the board. Phase 1 is complete, the foundation has been built. Phase 2 is the ground floor. Phase 3 is the second floor, and then phase 4 is a larger phase. It's the top floor, roofing and fitting out with things like tables, chairs, all that sort of stuff that is needed in a school. In terms of how it will run, it's no good having a building without working out how it's actually going to function. Some of the finer detail of this is still to be worked out. However, we have brethren who are in Guinea who have been trained. They have degrees in Bible. We have resources that have been offered to us from existing preaching schools, particularly there's a preaching school in Nigeria. We have contacts with the staff in that Nigerian preaching school who are also, have offered to contribute and help out. And we're also going to look at potentially having some teaching from external that might be able to, for example, be live streamed into the school. So a bit more detail to be worked out. We've got men on the ground though, who are able to preach and teach at this school, and we've got the resources lined up, but not actually have our hands on them just yet. So in terms of the Bible College, as I said, phase 1 has been completed. Now we were able to construct the foundation for approximately $20,000 US. I believe it was a little bit under that. Now that $20,000 US, 10 of that came from the support through Mission Guinea, and that was matched by the brethren in Niceville. So that foundation was complete, and I'll show you some photos of that. Now, phase two, our target was 15,000 Australian dollars, which is about 10,000 US again. We have reached that goal. We reached that, I believe it was just at the end of last year. And that will again be matched by the brethren in Niceville. So again, it'll be about the equivalent of 20,000 US dollars. Now, phase two, which was the first floor, we've kind of had to put it on hold a little bit. The reason being COVID, largely. As we've had border closures here, they've also had border closures in Guinea, which means supplies such as cement, steel, all the things that we need are not getting into Guinea, which means the price has gone through the roof. So we want to make sure that with the support that we have, we make the most of it. So we're efficient in how that's being used. So currently what we're doing is we're setting that aside. Once the restrictions due to COVID are lifted, the plan is again to have another mission trip or maybe a slightly smaller trip over to Guinea to help to purchase these supplies to make sure that we get best value, basically. So it's a little bit wait and see. We do already have some of the bricks built for the first level. So they're just sitting there, getting nice and hard, ready for us to build that first floor. So in the meantime, we've started working towards phase three. So we've got the same target of about 15,000 Australian dollars, and currently we're about 3,000. And phase four, we haven't yet set a target, but it's likely to be a bigger target for that. Okay, going on to some photos in relation to the Bible College. The first photo up the top is a picture of the site for the Bible College. It's a very big block of land. You can see the disturbed area there. That's the site of the Bible training school. So you can see we still have a lot of land there with a lot of potential for future development. Down the bottom is a picture of the engineer that we've engaged and the key builder. So yes, things are done differently in Guinea. However, they are done properly. I wanted to reinforce this. The Bible College is to be a 3-story building. So the foundation needs to be strong. And it has been done to the level that is required in that country for such a building. Just going through, not an easy task. A lot of coordination in terms of getting truckloads of rock and gravel and sand. This is how some of the steel was transported. So it takes a fair bit of coordinating. But yeah, look, it gets there and it will get there. You can see beautiful forest region, lovely palm trees. A lot of the land around there is used by locals to grow coffee and other fruits and whatnot. So they all come past and look with interest as to what's happening. A lot of it is done by hand. So these holes, how deep are they? They're very deep. They have to be 10, 12 feet deep, dug by hand. So cement and whatnot poured by hand. Just quickly, you can see there, down the bottom was a base of concrete and stone, and then they've built these wire frames, put boxes around. You can tell I'm not into construction. Poured cement in to get these pillars. So these pillars are underground, okay? And then they've joined these pillars with cement and then filled that in. So along the way, there's been other infrastructure, I guess, that's been put in place which will help support the rest of the construction as well. So the water that's required in terms of mixing the cement is from a river that is below the block where the site is. And initially that was being transported up in buckets and whatnot. So we ended up getting a pump to pump the water up, and there's now a reservoir where that water can be held. Just saves a lot of time, and that can be used for future things as well. Since we left in 2018, they've also built, I guess, a storehouse to put equipment in. In digging the holes and mixing the cement, we had to buy things like shovels, chips, and all that sort of stuff. So in this storehouse, everything is now kept secure for the next phases. Okay, so that's the two main things that we're looking at in terms of this work. So it's the Brethren in the communities and the Bible school. However, through Mission Guinea, we're also facilitating other projects. I just wanted to briefly go through those. So the first one is the Children's Pig Project. So this project and the next one I will talk about are kind of self-empowerment projects. So they're things that the congregations can work together on to help them to provide for themselves. We're not going to always be able to continue to provide support. We want to get them established and set up so that they can be self-sufficient. I think that's really important. So the Children's Pig Project was initiated in the trip that we did in 2018, and it started in early 2019. It was from support given by an individual in this congregation. And it started with 2 female pigs and a male pig. And the idea being is that they would have piglets that they would be shared amongst the local congregations to then breed with and to build up, I guess, pigs across the forest region in particular that can then be sold to have that sort of ongoing income for those congregations. So you can see a picture up there on the left. That was the litter of piglets that they had, initially based in Samoa, and then the pigs on the right are 2 of those piglets that were sent to the Brethren in Bellevue. And they've since built a little housing unit for them as well. So that's all up and running and doing well. Another project that was initiated again when we were there in 2018 is around soap making. Specifically, this started in Lennae, which again was one of the refugee camps. And I believe they're trying to start it now also in the other refugee camp in Quankun. So the idea being the ladies are driving this. They are making soap. They go to the local markets and they sell this soap. And then with the income from that, they're then able to help their families and their community. You can see up there, I've just put a snapshot out of a report where they sold around 3 million Guinea franc. That sounds like a lot, doesn't it? 3 million. I think I did the calculations. I can't remember what it was now. I think it was about $300 in terms of selling their soap. And then the type of things that they bought with that, caustic soda and kernel oil, that's what they need to then make more soap. Things like there was a sister who needed medical treatment. They bought supplies for classrooms and for teachers, and some cement to fix up their edifice. So that's their worship hall. So these ladies are getting a little bit in terms of compensation for running this, but most of it's going back into the communities. This is probably a good opportunity to talk about schooling, especially for those children in the refugee camps. In short, they don't get any schooling. Any schooling that has to be given is given by Brethren in the refugee camp. So since we were there in 2018, there's been quite a big push in terms of being able to provide that education for the children. Not so much by us, but by the Brethren in the 2 refugee camps. So any opportunity they get to provide this education, they're doing it. So you've got things like tarps for the classes, textbooks, they've got people who are teaching, so people from the community who are teaching. Okay, another thing that I wanted to talk about, and this is something that I guess we're facilitating, but we're not driving, and this is a schools project. Abraham Miller was invited some time ago to give a presentation at Toowoomba Grammar School, which is a private boys' school here. And it was about Guinea. It wasn't really about what we're doing. And as a result of that, the boys there decided to do a fundraiser to help support kids in Guinea. Also, we had a young lady from this congregation here who collected bottles and submitted them for recycling. And then the money from that was also sent over to Guinea to help educate the children. So this support was sent to the 2 refugee camps, so Lennae and Quankun, and they've been able to, as a result of that, provide or purchase supplies for the children. So it's books. I think they did some more fitting out of the classrooms as well. So you can see a picture there where the goods are being distributed and then all the children happy with their supplies. Okay, so since Mission Guinea started, so early 2014, the support from Brethren in Australia is over 117,000. So I think that's really commendable. And thank you on behalf of this work and also the Brethren in Guinea for that support. To date, the support that's been sent to the Brethren in Guinea totals almost 112,000. So that's a combination of support to individual evangelists, the congregations, and also the Bible Training College. You can see down the bottom there how much has been gathered for the Bible College, evangelists, and then we've also had some other needs that have come up over time. So we've bought Bibles. When there was the big outbreak of Ebola, we sent over support to help with that. There was a storm that went through one of the refugee camps. So we always keep an eye out if there are other needs and other opportunities, and if we're able to support through those, we do so as well. Okay, so how can you support the work? There's several ways. Firstly, through prayer. Our brethren do need our prayers. They currently have COVID just as we do. There's also been a recent outbreak of Ebola in the forest region. So that's started around February this year. So they do have ongoing issues such as that. Also, it can be quite unsettled. Again, as I mentioned, the Muslim community and the Christian community quite often don't see eye to eye, and sometimes that can flare up. So we need to remember their safety across the board in those cases. Secondly, financially, as you're able to, every little bit helps. $1 here goes a long way over there. Things are generally a lot cheaper over there. You can do one-off contributions, or you can become a regular supporter. Future mission trips, we do plan to go over there. I think it's invaluable being on the ground. You can't always pick up out of a report what's actually happening on the ground. So going over there is planned. We don't know when, but if you're able to go over, it's a wonderful opportunity. And just keep engaged. We do have updates, like I said, online. We've said that we will give more regular updates, and that's where this has come from. In the future, they might just be short snapshots of major highlights that are happening, but we will endeavour to keep everyone informed of what's going on. This is my last slide. If you would like further information, for anyone who's watching online, we do have information up on the website. So that's on our gippschurch.com. just go to the Get Involved link, and then under that there's the Mission Guinea link, and there's information there. Also, if you've got any questions, you can email them through to our email address. And lastly, you can get in touch with anyone in the working group. So the working group is Ruth Nyland, Abraham and Maddie Miller, Lisa and Aaron Martin, and then the Witterick family. So if you've got any questions, please get in touch with us. So for everyone who's watching online, we will leave it there. And for anyone here, we might see if there's any questions.